Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Super7 Ultimates Thundercats Mum-Ra the Ever-Living. Now, as we can see, the figure comes in that standard Thundercats Ultimates box with that really cool logo at the center. Removing the slipcover, we can see that the figure is showcased in that window box packaging, surrounded by his multiple interchangeable parts and accessories. And if we turn the box around, we can see some really cool artwork of Mum-Ra, as well as a short bio for the character. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at the new Super7 Ultimates Mum-Ra the Ever-Living. God, I love this figure. This is one I was super stoked about, as I have the first Mum-Ra, just this standard small little mummy Mum-Ra, but this is Mum-Ra the Ever-Living in his fully powered form, looking super dope from Super7, and I'm totally digging it here. So the head sculpt looks great in my opinion. I love the look, the little snarling smile that he's getting here with the glossy red eyes looks so good. Those white brows looking really nice. The headpiece looks really good too, the different shades of gold there. Even the little serpents at the top with the purple, the black, and the white of the eyes looks really good too. Then you see all his tassels coming from the back and his wrap back there. Paint's a little sloppy back there, nothing crazy though. This chest logo looks really good too. I love how you have the mummy wrapping coming around the arm and then the waist and things like that, little gold bands, and his braces around his wrist looks really good too. Give it some texturing, looking really nice. His skirt piece looks really good too. Taking a look at the back with the bands going back down. And then again, you get the bracers on his shin guard right there, looking like that pounded metal, which I think looks really cool. And you got the different tones of gold. His little furry batas back there. I kind of wish the claws were painted. You know, his toenails, I wish those were painted. Same thing with his fingernails too. But the bottom of the feet look really good too. You got peg holes back on there. So this looks awesome, man. The paint looks really, really good. The Tigra I just took a look at had a lot of paint issues. This one's not terrible. I have a tiny bit of a smudge. I don't know if you can see that right there on the little peck, but nothing crazy. This actually looks very good, and I'm very pleased with this. So now moving on to the accessories here, and this first one, not necessarily an accessory, but an extra figure, an extra character in Mamut. I think this is so cool, man, that they even included Mamut here. The sculpt looks really, really good here. The musculature looks great. I love the airbrushing they did to give it that shadowing effect throughout the muscles. Look really good. You got the underbelly and under the paws there. Have that really nice light gray looking really good too. You got his little tail back here. The face sculpt looks so good. Man, I think they did such an incredible job with this. His mandibles and teeth. His whole jaw structure looks great. I love his spiked collar, looking really good with the red and gold there. I love this. The cool thing about this is actually a little articulated, so you can rotate the head like that, and then all four legs can go back and forth like so. So I think that's really cool that he's actually a little pulsable. You can give him that. So I love this, dude. That's so cool. Again, just the fact that they included him is really rad in my book, and I love it. Next up, we do get interchangeable hands. So you got closed-fisted hands, you got more open palm hands with the curled fingers, and then you do get gripping hands for holding his weapon here. They all interchange very nicely. They're just on that standard straight pegs, and those work pretty good, so I do like that a lot. We do get an interchangeable head here, which is a more screaming head. I dig this so freaking much, man. You can see how different they are right there, but those look so good. I love the fact they included both of these. This is great because I think I'm definitely going to display him with this yelling head. I think that looks really, really good. And this is just on a standard ball peg like that. This whole piece right here of the wrapping is a separate piece, but it's kind of glued to the back of the skirt piece right here. Then it kind of just rests over that. So you could take that there and then pop that on like so, and there you go. And that is definitely the head I'm going to display my Mum-Ra with, so that looks really cool too. We also do get whatever this is. For the life of me, I cannot remember what this thing is called. Feel free to let me know in the comments. It's just been so long since I've seen the Thundercats cartoon. So this is a really cool rod. I love the colors here. You got a really pale light bluish gray and then a darker deep blue like that too, so that looks really good as well. But then we also do get his double bladed saber weapon. Man, here's the thing with this. Can you see that? So if we take a closer look here, like look at the handle, it is just chipping paint. You can see a little bit of glue drippings on the snake there, but on this side it's even worse. You can see that paint is just missing, like a chip piece of the gold paint stuck on the blade right there, because you see the glue drippings all over the blade. It almost looks like this thing was like broken in half and someone tried to glue it right there at the center. You can see that. So I don't know if all of them are that way or is it just my particular copy, but that looks terrible. So I've already contacted Super7. They haven't gotten back to me yet, so I'm hoping they can replace this because these figures are expensive, man, and this just looks terrible. You can see the globbing of the glue. You can see this on the snake right here. You can see the glue glob right there. The paint is chipped. Gold paint is glued on there. I mean, not good. I mean, that stuff aside, this thing is still massive and looks really gnarly, so I do like it in that regard. I'm just disappointed that it came out this way. So again, if Super7 replaces it for me, I'll be completely happy with this because this thing looks freaking awesome. Now the last accessory that we do get is going to be his cape here. This is a really nice looking cape. You can see it has like that bat wing shape right here. It does have a bendy wire all throughout the seam, even going down to the points here. And I love how it's a little tattered and worn. You got the red on the inlining and the black on the outside, or vice versa if you want to, however you like. But it is a really nice quality material. It is two different materials stitched together, so it feels nice and thick and sturdy. This feels really, really solid. Now here's going to be kind of a complaint, the way this thing attaches. So you're going to have to take the head off. This is the easiest way, and then those bands will come off. So how this works, you're going to take the cape here, and you're going to see a hoop right there, a little loop right there through the center of the cape, and it's going to connect to this little back peg on the back of his neck. Now the problem with this is it doesn't really hold in there all that well. Now you get little holes right here on the edge like that. These are going to hook on to the spikes right here. Not this spike. There's two different spikes here. So what you're going to do, the one that's a little more curled, and you can see has a little gapping between at the base of the spike, it's going to kind of hook into there like that. So that goes there. And then the other side will go on that side like this, like that, like so. So that's in there like that now. And this one just does not stay as good as I would like. And actually, I already messed this up because I forgot to put the bands back on this skin in here. This is really difficult to do on camera, so are you guys enjoying me completely messing this up? So that goes there. Again, I have to try and hook this on there because this will just has a huge problem staying. Again, put this back on a little spike right there like that, and then take the head back on, pop that on there like that, give it a little push, make sure it's all the way on there, and there you go. So now the cape is on. It looks good once it's on him. I will say how it holds on, it works, and once it's on the shelf and you have it displayed the way you want, it will stay just fine. But trying to pose it around with the cape on is going to be almost impossible. It's gonna fall off. It's not gonna stay on there when you're trying to do something. So my best thing to suggest for you is that pose the figure first and then attach the cape, and then bend the cape however you like with a bendy wire. That's gonna be the way to do it. Otherwise you're just gonna get super annoyed that the cape won't stay on. But I mean, it's not dangling, it's not having crazy trouble. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt to get on there, but once it does, it looks freaking awesome, man. I love it so much. Now, moving on to the articulation here, the head isn't a ball peg, but I mean, you're virtually going to get nothing besides left and right. With the sculpting of the bands here and all the little tassels from the head, you're going to get nothing else besides left and right. The arms can go full 360. Those work out very nicely, up and out, about that far, not fully out to the side, but it's okay. We get a single bend at the elbow, not 90, rotation at the elbow. We got rotation at the bicep, swivels at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. Ab crunch back and forth, waist swivel, hip joints going to kick up that far. And one thing I noticed, man, they didn't even bother to do his crotch area a different color because he is just letting his bits hang out there. So I kind of wish they would have done the cross beach in like a molded black or something just to change it up, because that looks a little weird, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing all up and down Main Street right there. So rotation in the upper thigh, single bend at the knee. We also rotate at the knee like so. Ankles go up, down, and a pretty decent ankle rocker. So overall, I genuinely freaking love this piece. He's massive. I'll show you comparison pics here in shortly, but he's such a cool figure. This is the Mum-Ra that we all know and love. He's just such a badass piece. The paint looks really good. My only real complaint is going to be that my sword came out kind of cruddy, and the cape can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not terrible at all. I'm just so happy with this. And to be honest with you, another thing that I like, Super 7 is kind of played with like loose joints and things like that. I personally don't have that problem with this figure at all. He's actually fairly solid. Maybe the wrist a tiny bit loose, but nothing crazy. But he feels pretty solid compared to other Super 7 Ultimates, which I'm so happy about. So for me, he's rad and a definite must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is sitting next to the Super 7 Ultimates Lino and Standard Mum-Ra. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Super 7 Thundercats Ultimates Mum-Ra the Ever Living. Now overall, I really like this figure, man. He is big and impressive. He towers all over the other Thundercats figures from Super 7, which I think is cool, and I think it makes it even better for me. The head sculpts are incredible. I love all the tassels and the paint detailing, especially that yelling head. That thing is perfect for this figure. And all the paint for the entire figure actually looks really clean and really nice. I didn't see a whole lot of smudging or anything like that. He looks really, really good. The articulation works well for what it is. Again, Ultimates figures aren't meant to be the most hyper-articulated, and I know some people want that, but that's not what this line is, so I'm completely cool with what it actually is. I love the soft goods cape. I think it looks really cool, and it's huge. I do wish it hooked on a little better to the wrist guards, because it does constantly fall off, especially even on the back piece. But once you have it posed up, that's going to stay there, and it looks really cool on the shelf, so I'm super happy about that. I also love the fact that he came with Mum Mutt. I think that's awesome. We got a second character with this set. I absolutely love that, and he's a little bit articulated, so he came out really nice too. His sword is a little weird. Again, mine looks like it was broken then glued back together. Luckily, Super 7 has emailed me since this video and said that they will be replacing my sword, so that's really cool. Super 7 is pretty good with that kind of thing, so I do enjoy that. This is just one of those pieces that I've wanted for a very long time. I've always wanted a really good Thundercats toy line. For some of you, this might not be it, but for me, I'm loving what Super 7 is doing with Thundercats, and he just looks, again, impressive, and I think he will look great in all of your collections. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.